Great morning, and we felt pretty good about the week that we just had. I think every week our team is progressing and heading in the right direction. I was thinking, just how many new kids that we've got out on the court right now. 4 freshmen and then quite a few people that are in their first year. And one of the things that we've talked about with our group is just can you a big part of the joy of sports is progress and just heading in from week to week and growing. And I think every week we've looked a little bit better, and the things that we've worked on in the gym is usually translated out on the courts when we've played. And but I think this next week in front of us is a little bit probably even more of a challenge. Every week's a challenge, but you've got a 2-0 Illinois team on Friday, and a really good Michigan or Thursday. I'm sorry, we played Thursday, and then a really good Michigan team on the other side of that. So looking forward to what we got this week.
Questions?
Kelly, just looking to talk about some of the freshmen. We've seen Kristen obviously in there, but then you're seeing, I know I talked about Natalie like a couple weeks ago, but within Madison having to step up. Just what have you seen in terms of progression from the 5 freshmen that have set foot on campus so far through the 10 games, and for those 3, what would stand out about each one?
Yeah, they've what I like is that they've come in there, and there's been an element of toughness with each of them, and they haven't flinched. I think one of the things that you're concerned about with true freshmen is them wearing down physically, mentally. I think that's always kind of a concern, especially when you really count on them. And one of them was telling me the other day that just one of her biggest concerns is just time management, and those are things that young people need to kind of figure out, because you're having to make all these decisions by yourself, and the day can get away from you if you're not careful. And usually when you've got people that are in their 3rd or 4th or 5th year, they've kind of got that figured out. But the young kids, if you're not careful, you're just running on fumes. And so we count on our young players, Madison has had a really first 2 couple starts. These are her first 2 starts. She's played really well. Both of them are, Big Ten opponents. And, now it's about building on that. And, Anaya and Kristen, it's about building on what they've done. They both have the ability of being really, really good game-changing players, even though they're young for us. And Natalie has come in and she's played a variety of roles for us, but recently it's been behind the service line, and she's got that nasty float.
I think Charlie's second in the nation in assists per set. Kind of, how do you characterize what she's done in terms of being able to kind of orchestrate this attack this year?
Yeah, she's taking her game to the next level. It's we're our hitters consistently are able to hit with range, and she's putting her hitters in really, really good positions. I thought this weekend she defended really well. She's capable of being an elite defender, but she was playing with great range. I thought her serving's gotten better every single week. She's a complete player, But from a setting perspective, she's making really, really good, smart decisions, and her voice just keeps getting stronger every week, which we need that out of her.
Una, technically not a newcomer, but seeing her first substantial college action this year, kind of what stood out to you about her and kind of the way that she's been able to contribute in a couple different ways?
Mm-hmm. She's kind of a glue player for us because she just plays the game, and she's our best passer, and we ask a lot out of her. I think she's our highest point scorer behind the service line, and that's the rotation where we score the most points. She takes a lot of ton of out of system swings. She takes some hard swings there. She's been fantastic for us.
Okay. Going back to Madison, making her first collegiate start on Friday, what has given you the confidence in her, and how have you seen her progress from when she first got here?
Yeah. Well, she was, it was really nice for her to be here in the spring. I mean, that was a really big deal, kind of where she's at right now. When Grace Lopez tore her knee in the spring, Madison immediately slipped into that position without ever playing it. And so we got a spring of training, being able to play 4 spring matches, in front of good crowds and things. So without that, I'm not sure we'd be at the starting point that we are right now. And so that I think her graduating, getting in here was pretty important for where we're at today. And then her willingness to just, you have that sometimes in sports. You have some players that just they're stubborn, and this is the position I play, period. And usually, as a coach, you don't have much choice at sometimes. It's like, all right, well then sometimes there's a trickle down effect. But if you have players that are willing to move, you kind of think in football, being willing to move to different spots on the line. You think about it, with our team of, are you willing to go from the left to the right, or from the middle to the right, or something? And we've had some examples of people that have been able to do that over the years. It just gives you so much more flexibility, and so her willingness to be uncomfortable and to work like crazy to get better has been an awesome trait for a young player. She just wants to help. She just wants to get in the game. She wants to help her team, and however she's able to do that, that's what she's willing to do.
John?
Not that Illinois was necessarily under the radar. I think they were 9th in the preseason coaches poll for the Big Ten. But kind of what stood out to you about kind of this? I realize you just played 24 hours ago, but kind of early signs of what stood out to you about what Illinois has done, including that nice win over Purdue.
Yeah, watched a few points while we were in the locker room, the coaches waiting for our match yesterday, because they played a little bit before us. Huge win to go into Mackey. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. That's that's a rabid fan base there, and it's a great win. But I'm not sure. I've got a scouting report right now in Illinois. Today was a little bit more about breaking down ourselves, and then this afternoon we'll start diving into them.
Jake?
Say, Kelly, like coming up now, you're having either matches like later in the week, and then on the weekend where it's either a Thursday and then a Sunday matchup, and then or Friday followed by a Sunday matchup. Just what do you and the staff have to do during these type of changeovers where it's a relatively quick turnover in terms of scouting? Do you all start doing it earlier in the week before that? That's kind of how the process lays out in terms of scouting and getting the players ready.
It's a challenge when you think about a sport that is playing more than one per week, right? Which is what we do, and when one of those is on a Sunday, which this year we're playing just about every Sunday. What it means is that there is no day during the season for the players, the staff. It's fine. It's what we do. But the players, they've got something 7 days a week. What is really nice if you're playing on Saturday, Sunday's your day off. You get caught up, get away. You've got no classes. You've got no sport. You can kind of go and do whatever that you want. Mentally, that's kind of a big deal. And the way this schedule is lined up, they don't have that. And so, how do we strategically help them along the way? So that they're mentally and physically healthy. That's a different challenge based on how it's set up. I don't think I answered your question, but that was immediately what came to mind. Is that the every year you've got different types of challenges, right? And the schedule is always a part of it, but sometimes we're thinking the schedule of where we go and who we play, but how it's laid out also has a big impact on on what the season looks like.
Any last questions? John?
You were talking about progress, kind of 10 matches in, 18 left in the regular season. Kind of where do you kind of big picture see the most progress with this group?
The rallies are won between the contacts, and the contacts obviously matter. But there's when you're having a sport where you don't get a stop and get reorganized, when the ball's in flight, how you're doing in the seams, how your passing seams, how your defensive seams, how the connection with the front row and the back row and between the blockers is really critical. We were not a team that was very strong with our voices and communicating while the rally was going on, and we were leaving a ton of points out there. The biggest impact that we've had is that we're communicating what you'd expect when you've got people that are starting to play with each other. That's been a big part. The other thing is we didn't give away a lot of free points this week. We weren't giving a lot of points away behind the service line. The service errors were really down. I don't think anybody has come. I think we're giving away reception errors out of the teams that are in the top 25. Probably we've got so few reception errors. I think the next team that is even close to us is probably twice as many. I mean, we're just not giving away points right now with our serve pass game, and that allows us to be in our offense a little bit more. So I'd say that those are probably a couple areas that are really progressing.